Everyone's talking about AI, but who's actually implementing it? I'm Jenna Ahern, the CEO of Guardian Owl Digital, a search engine marketing firm rooted in integrity and transparency in the digital age. AI and marketing are at a crossroads, and the technology is moving faster than most business leaders can keep up with. That's why we created Go AI, a podcast series where we interview leaders in various industries about all things artificial intelligence. With each guest, my co-host Connor Rafferty and I will explore the applications that this rapidly evolving technology has for business leaders and their industries. Let's go AI. All right, welcome back. We are so excited to introduce our next guest on the Go AI podcast, Robby Davis. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate being on. I got my start in design probably 20-ish years ago, believe it or not. So it's been a minute, but I went to school for fine art. Figured I wouldn't make a whole lot of money making pots in ceramic class. So tried to figure out a way for the technology angle and wanted to combine art and computers together. Went graphic design was kind of the natural route. And back in those days, like the job you wanted to get, or at least a lot of the people in my circle wanted to get, was to go work in advertising at an advertising agency. So that was the goal, like get out of school, go do that. So that's what I did.
Did you go to school in Louisville?
Indiana.
Indiana.
Yeah. But I worked here in Louisville. So I got a job at a couple of different agencies here in town. Did that for a number of years and then went to a smaller like boutique style agency doing like marketing and branding and just like graphic design, basic graphic design work. And then found myself working for a SaaS-based company doing marketing work. And that was my first experience with software. And at that time, this was like back before Figma and all these tools that we use today, was asked to reskin their software. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just try to do this in Photoshop and make it look better. And so anyway, terrible way to do that nowadays, but that kind of exposed me to software and working with software engineers and that whole world. And I loved it. So
that's a different world.
Yep. So I started diving deep into just how do I learn these new skills and be able to work with people that I'm not used to working with, people that think much different than I do. Coming from an art background, I was with a lot of creative people that thought similar, but starting to work with like more math-based and software and process and just understanding how to best work with them. And over time, learned that like they definitely are just as creative as any other creative person that I've worked with in the art space. So anyway, I really love that collaboration of being able to team up with someone that had a skill set to help me make something come to life that I would in no way be able to do by myself. So I've kind of stuck on that path and I worked at a couple of different places on the enterprise side, like in-house and also small like boutique agencies doing client-based work, and also kept a side hustle with doing just like branding and illustration and editorial illustration, anything to like scratch that creative itch. I got a little side gig where I just kind of keep that stuff going to,
which is amazing,
have a good balance of like some analytical problem solving with just creative expression, art, and weird skulls and other stuff that I like to draw.
It's not weird. It's pretty cool. It's robbydavis.com, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can check it out. We'll put it in the show notes. But so as a creative, when you think AI, what do you think about? Is it fear-based? Are you thinking of how can I utilize it? Do you feel like you're going to be replaced? Like talk to us a little bit about AI.
Well, my opinion on it is evolving still. And
Sure.
I'm starting to use it in a much more tactical way at my day job at work. But up until then, it's been more of a novelty, it's really about, curiosity. Like what can I make that's silly or funny with this type of technology? And a lot of times it's just been, making funny images or coming up with taglines and things that like really don't have much applicable nature to like the business world, I guess. Yeah. But it's a way for me to kind of learn and have fun with it and figure out maybe what I can do with it. How can I integrate it into my creative process? From an artist standpoint, like thinking about like more illustration and like the stuff that I like to do on the side, I'm still leaning into like how can I use this as a tool to help me get work done that's still in my style, but like more efficient and faster. But I'm protective of that. There's a certain sacredness to that process of like sitting down and making something with your own hand that I don't necessarily want AI to replace. Like I want to be able to continue to do that. because that's a lot of the enjoyment for me as from the artist side of my brain. I like to do that. I don't want to automate that. Like that's when I get into the flow state and I like that's the joy of it, I guess. It's the craft of it. When I think about doing more client-based work or like for my day job as a product designer where I'm working with software engineers and it's really about efficiency and like which design is going to get the best conversion rate and things like that, where there's more of a science to it, it makes a lot more sense. And I'm definitely a lot more excited about finding ways to be able to utilize it in those contexts.
Yeah, especially with the mundane tasks, like from the tactical level that aren't as enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've definitely taken advantage of that. Just like simple things like helping me write emails that don't sound terrible.
Yeah, exactly. Please be more compassionate in this email.
Yeah. One tactical example I've used it for recently was I had a legal contract, and I was like, oh man, I hate all that stuff. And I was like, I uploaded it into AI and I was like, gave it the prompt of explain this to me like I'm 5 years old. And it did a pretty good job, enough more than what I needed. And I needed to make some red lines to it. And I was able to just say, in this clause, red line it so I'm protected for X, Y, and Z in this area, make some red lines to protect me for this. And it spit out a Word document that I was able to use. So
That's
is
such a
like
great
a super
example.
tactical use where I'm like, man, this is awesome. And my wife and I have used it for just like things to just embarrass our daughter. She's 9 and she's into, she's always saying these Gen Z words that we don't even understand what they mean. And so we had to make her a poster for school, and my wife put it together, but it was to motivate her on test day. So they had like a week of just testing, right?
Oh, geez.
And
Okay.
so they
Like
asked
the state level
the
testing.
state
Okay.
testing.
Yeah.
So they asked all parents to like make a poster to help motivate their kids so they could see it in class on the day of, and it was supposed to be a surprise.
A good idea.
Anyway, this is not AI related at all, but we drop her off at school and we'll say like random Gen Z slang terms to embarrass her when she gets out of the car. She's like, "Don't do that, I hate it," and I think she really likes it, or at least we tell ourselves that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we made the poster, and it's just like a bunch of Gen Z slang terms that my wife got from ChatGPT to help us out. So we're like, "This is awesome. We love AI."
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
We're going to be able to keep up.
Yeah. So I guess that's what I mean when like the novelty use of it is like kind of where I'm at right now, and I'm dipping my toes into trying to use it in a more tactical way. And I mentioned I use it at work for stuff, but like I'm on a product design team. I haven't gotten a chance to mess with it too much, but we are working with a vibe coding tool.
Okay.
I guess that's kind of a buzz term that I hear quite a bit now, called Bolt. And yeah, it sounds really cool to be able to just prompt based, give me something that's clickable and workable that I can get in front of users and get some feedback like very quick. So that's exciting. Figma is a tool that I use every day. And I don't know if you guys know much about or follow what's coming out, but they just announced Figma Make, which is basically their answer to the vibe coding thing that's happening right now. So you'll be able to design UI via a prompt or upload a design you already have and say, make this work. It's not available to everyone yet, so I haven't gotten to try it out yet, but I'm very hopeful that, to me, that sounds like the answer because it's in the ecosystem that I'm already in every day. And if it can be integrated into what we've already got set up, it just seems like a natural fit that I would use all the time.
No, I love that. And I'm learning that for the first time that's being rolled out in Figma. So
you guys use that?
So our like website designers use Figma. Okay. I do not on a regular basis. I know enough to be dangerous.
Yeah. This leads into a discussion of just what creative tools besides the Figma Make have really caught your attention as a creative. AI tools, have caught your attention.
Well, Midjourney is a big one. I played around with that. And again, like I said, more novelty, like make me a funny image for this so I can send it to somebody, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Although on my Twitter feed and the like design Twitter, I every day it's just like filled with people giving tutorials on how to use Midjourney or how to use, what's the name of the tool? Perplexity. Perplexity, yeah. How to use that. So I'm becoming much more interested in like, okay, I need to dive in and like see how I can use these from a creative standpoint for idea generation. And I've started to do that somewhat just to get, high level concepts or use it to maybe connect dots. And I'm talking more about like writing or taglines for brands, things like that. But just to give it a prompt, and usually some of the stuff it spits out is garbage, but it does connect dots that I probably would not have connected myself, or it would have taken me a lot longer to make those connections. And it does spark creativity to be like, oh, I could do this angle or that angle or this angle. But I'm using it more for the concepting piece of it and not like, here's an image that I'm going to use for production and put my name on it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that yet. However, there was a model, I forget what the tool was called. I played around with it about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know, it's been a while. But they claim to allow you to upload a sampling of your own illustration artwork. If it was in a consistent style, you needed to upload a minimum of 10 pieces for the sample size, and they would build a model based on your own style. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
So I tried that, and it was not there, nowhere close to where I would use it. That's something I want to keep my eye on. If I'm able to do that and upload a lot of my own, basically make my own model so that I can generate concepts quicker in a style that I know I can replicate and that I know I aesthetically just like and, whatever. But that sounds promising to me in the future. I would probably use that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious about, could you use it as an artist to scale a little bit quicker? When you're talking about like ideation. So at that ideation phase, if you're able to, usually it takes you 3 days to come up with something, and it can maybe give you a day just from it using it to ideate. I mean, that's a lot of time that is saved in that phase. But I'm of the belief, because I love artists and I feel like their mind is so creative, that it's just something that I don't think, AI, because it doesn't have the human connection element and that human emotional connection, it's going to be able to create the same level of ideas that will land because it doesn't have feelings. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think my point of view on it, at least right now, is will help with idea generation and all the things that you just mentioned, but there's not that like human touch and the element of craft to it. And maybe that's my own bias, like, because I don't want it to do that, because that's what I like about it.
Well, I've tried to create some, images, and we've used so many tools, and I just don't think it's even close. I think for the most part, you can really tell if an image is created by AI right now versus a human. But I'm sure because it's evolving so quickly, that will change.
Yeah, I think the more specific of an idea that you have going in, the more you set yourself up to get frustrated or disappointed by the AI.
Yeah.
You kind of almost need to be like, hey, surprise me a little bit. Or just to be, again, like concept generation, where it's like, I don't really have anything in mind. So I'm fine with seeing something kind of like, being surprised a little bit.
Yep. And that's a good point, because the example I gave where I uploaded my own stuff to make the model, my expectations out of the gate were extremely high because I wanted it to look like exactly what I uploaded. Right. So I already had a visual in my mind of what I expected it to output, and it did not.
It wasn't even close.
But where it's come in handy, where I'm like, wow, AI is the best thing ever, is when I don't really know what to do. And I'm just getting started, and I'm like, hey, I just need some ideas. I need a place to start. And it will spit out stuff where I'm like, oh, like, this is great. I wouldn't have started here. I wouldn't have made that connection. So I totally get that.
I want to ask about, because legally there's a lot of questions around just who should own what AI generates, even if you prompted it. Have you thought much about this at all in the terms of like, if you use an AI tool and you really kind of coach it to give you a certain image, do you think that should be yours, or do you think that should be not yours?
I don't know, man. That's a tough question. My gut answer is no, it should not be yours. If you're if you're specifically saying, create me an image, but do it in this guy's style, something just doesn't seem right about that to me as an artist. But and I tried it. I remember early on, this might be different now, but I think I was in Midjourney maybe, or forget which one, but I was like, make me a portrait of somebody in the style of Shepard Fairey. And it had a prompt that said, sorry, we can't, or we won't do that due to copyright infringement. So like, I was surprised to see that, to be honest. And I hope that they're able to put more checks and balances in place for that type of thing. But I mean, it's easy for them to protect Shepard Fairey because he's a well-known artist. But like me, like if someone really wanted to draw something in my style, there's nothing out there. There's not going to be a prompt in ChatGPT that says you can't do that. You know what I mean?
And people have found pretty creative workarounds of those copyright infringements, which is really kind of a big problem, because if you don't know that what's generated is actually, I'll give an example. Like there was someone who, I think it was Google's AI, they were able to make it generate a photo of Sonic the Hedgehog without asking for Sonic the Hedgehog. And so if you were like a business owner and you wanted like, hey, give me like a cute hedgehog for this little ad that I'm making, and then out comes Sonic the Hedgehog, but you don't know who Sonic the Hedgehog is, and suddenly you put that out trying to sell a product, and suddenly Sega's like, hey, we're going to sue you, Sonic the Hedgehog. You're going to say, well, I used the AI. I thought it was just
where the AI accidentally stumbled upon some other company's mascot or something, and you start to use it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a risk, I would say, in using AI, is you don't know whether what's there is actually original to the AI or just a purely recycled thing. Or in that legal gray area of, is this copyright infringement? So yeah.
No, exactly. Have you had clients come to you and specifically ask, like, hey, are you utilizing AI within your creative process? Or do you think that, a year down the road, clients are going to be against or for that? Talk to me a little bit about that.
I have not had a client ask me that.
Okay.
If I use it or how I use it, any of that. So I don't have experience with that. But I think it will, I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I think some of, this is like the fear of it, I guess, but it could be that some of the things I'm doing for clients now, they don't need me to do in the future, potentially. That's always in the back of my mind. But I don't know, like a lot of the freelance work I'm doing, a lot of it's illustration heavy, and it's like in my style, I guess. And not to say that like I'm like super unique by any means, but like it's in a style that I've developed over my career. And I'm to the point where I'm not going to try to replicate that with AI, nor would I really want to, because then it's like kind of going back to where we started. The reason I'm doing the freelance is to scratch a creative itch, to keep that
muscle,
like to protect that sacredness of like creating something from scratch.
Yeah.
And if that work becomes automated, then I may not want to do it anymore. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the whole point of even doing it, is just to be able to always go back and do something that's more creative. And yes, I'm doing it for a client, but I mean, even take it a level deeper, I guess, is like, if I don't have client work, then I want to do it just for myself and with no strings attached and no rounds of revisions and feedback. You know what I mean? Like that seems super appealing.
Yep. I
And I would never use AI. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say I would never, but I would maybe use AI to help with idea generation. But the act of like making the thing, I don't think I would want to just give that up.
Well, and I guess you can read so much content, and some of what I've consumed has said, hey, like branding firms won't be around in 5 years, designers won't be around. Do you think that there's truth to that? Or do you feel like, especially with where it is right now, you're going to need those creatives and artists working for these agencies?
I think as a designer or a branding firm, if you don't figure out a way to use AI, you won't be around.
So AI is not going to replace you, but someone who knows how to use AI.
I don't think so. At least that's the optimistic point of view I want to try to believe, at least right now. And I do believe it. I think right now it's to the point where it's just a tool.
I believe that too.
If you can harness the power of the tool, just like anything else, I've been doing this for a long time and it's changed a lot, the different tools that we use. And if you can figure out a way early on to take advantage of a tool or make connections with how to use a digital tool with an analog media, there's some really interesting stuff that can happen there from just an like art standpoint or design. So that would probably be my angle. If I was going to really, I feel like I'm going down this path right now of like, how can I combine it into the workflow I have right now and still make it feel like it's part of that sacred craft that I keep talking about, but it could be a means to an end and a tool in the toolbox to like help me create something that is still has a foot in the analog space, but a foot in that digital space that seems unique. Some way to like mash it up and make it cool.
Yeah.
That's where I would want to try to explore.
Yeah. I agree. I'm on that side of thinking. And again, I think it's just because, the AI just lacks, it doesn't have a heart, right? It doesn't have that emotional side and connection. So I think it can get close, but I just don't foresee that in the near future, hopefully. But maybe that's my optimism as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. There's just so much about just generative AI in the kind of just headlines. Most headlines about AI are about generative AI. Where would you place this as far as impact on the creative world, as far as just technology that you've seen over your lifetime? I mean, right, like the internet, then there was smartphones putting a camera in pretty much everyone's pocket. Where do you project this going in terms of affecting human creativity going forward?
I don't know. I mean, we're in the middle of it, I guess, right now, but to me, it feels like a bigger step forward faster than anything else I've experienced
Agree.
with the internet and social media, smartphones. Like,
Mhm.
this seems like it's going way faster to me. Maybe it's because I'm older now. I don't know.
No, don't say that.
Yeah.
Because I had at this point the other day where I'm like, is it like the iPhone 17 that we're at right now? And what model are we on for ChatGPT? 5, 6?
We're getting to 4. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's
Yeah.
like, but I mean, that happened in 2 years. So,
Mhm.
I mean, the iPhone 1 to now, I mean, that was way longer than just the
Mhm.
evolution of, these models. So I agree with you. I think it's just moving so fast. No one can really be the expert in it. And, the best thing to do is just what you're doing. How can I utilize this to be better at my craft or make things more efficient?
Yeah.
So, no,
Mhm.
it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think back to when the iPhones, or at least when I first started designing for an iPhone, and it was early on. They've been out for a couple of years, I guess, at that point, maybe like 2009 or 10. But to me, they were super new. And that was like a whole new medium to design for. Like at the time, if you
Yeah.
actually looked at the screen of an iPhone 4, which is what was out then, it was exactly the same size as a business card.
Oh my
So
gosh.
you were
It's so
trying to
small.
design like a whole world inside of the footprint of a business card. And to me, that was like a fun design challenge. Like, how do you do that and take advantage of that space and make something that's like simple but helpful and engaging? And
Gets a high click through
it kind
rate.
of goes back to like, that was a brand new thing. It was like feelings of curiosity and like, oh, what can we do? Like, how can we like push the bounds of the box that we've been put in with this stuff? And to me, I feel like it's sort of feels the same way right now with at least my current journey with AI. Like, how can I take advantage of some of this and figure out a way to mold it around how I want to work versus it dictating how I have to work?
Oh,
That
I
makes
like
sense.
that. That was
Mhm.
good.
In your interactions with clients for your freelance work, we talked earlier about the issue of what we could just call alignment of I have this vision and I asked the AI to give it to me. It didn't give it how I imagined it. Do you think that could be that element of AI kind of failing to align closely enough to satisfy us with our creative visions could mean job security for enough creatives to where, say, like businesses come to you with an idea and if they try to generate with AI, they don't really get it up to their standard. Do you find that in your interactions with clients that they are specific enough to where you can say, I think, humans will probably still need human designers and creatives just because humans can get you as closer to the creative vision than an AI
Yeah.
can.
I think in the larger companies I've worked in or done work for, I feel like that would be more important to really have to stay on brand. It's important to stay on brand. You got to be on brand. But like a lot of the freelance work I've done is more for startups. So the brand's evolving. Like, so to me, that's like, you can kind of let AI lead the brand if you wanted to some
Yeah.
extent and
Mhm.
let it kind of evolve through that means. But like,
Mhm.
if you're in an in-house, like larger enterprise and you're trying to use AI to generate content that's on brand, that's going to be hard to do, I think, without having someone to oversee it. And I know I've heard this term quite a bit just around AI, where, at least from the creator's standpoint, that the creator is going to be turning into a curator. And that seems true to me. Like,
Yeah.
especially in that example where you're trying to make it fit an existing brand that has some like hard rules. You're trying to curate your prompts to generate a specific thing. And I think that would have a long-term effect over like with the type of person that gets into the creative field. If that's what the creative field becomes, if it's only curation and not creation, you're probably going to get a lot of people that just want that are makers and want to create stuff that maybe wouldn't go that path because that's not the job they want. They don't want to curate, they want to create stuff.
Well, speaking about paths, you mentioned that you have a 9-year-old daughter and you and your wife made using ChatGPT to stay hip.
Yeah, we're staying hip.
Well, yeah. How is that when, you're teaching a 9-year-old? Are you teaching your 9-year-old how to use this technology, or is she teaching you all?
She's not teaching us. Like she wants a phone. We're like, you're not getting a phone yet. So we're like trying to push that off as long as we possibly can to protect her from
everything,
from what our addictions,
Yeah,
but,
I get it.
But we do show her, like we'll show her like, hey, check this out. Like we messed around with it. This is more like kind of going back to the novelty, but like I remember as a joke, somebody at work told me that he did this for his wife. And I was like, I'm going to try it for mine. And the prompt was, write me a 7-stanza poem about how we met, like where we met. And you put in some details about like where you met and like just, some details.
Yeah.
And I tried it and it spit out a poem better than I could ever write. So I tried to joke my wife and be like, look what I wrote you. But I quickly was like, no, I didn't write that.
Well,
I wrote it for me. But
I did the same thing. It was for a Valentine's Day card.
Yeah.
Zach was like, did you do this or did ChatGPT?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It was too good.
But it's so funny. Like we were cracking up at it, and like all the Gen Z phrases and stuff, we were cracking up at that. But I don't know what the question was. But yeah.
No. So is she teaching you this technology, or you? Because I'm not sure at 9 years old what they're exposed to, what they're
She's
using.
not teaching us. I wouldn't say. Yeah. I think we're still in the phase of trying to shield her from all of it.
Yeah, as long as possible.
Yeah.
Well, Robby, thank you so much. This has been an enlightening conversation. If you had to leave the audience with any words of wisdom when it comes to AI in the creative space, what would you leave them with?
Oh, man. Well, the wisdom I'm trying to give myself anyway as I navigate through this is just to avoid a pessimistic attitude with any of it. Change is inevitable. Stay curious and figure out a way you can make it work around the way you want to work.
Oh, love that.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Robby, if someone wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that? Where do they find you?
RobbyDavis.com is the best place. Yep. I've got it. Yep. It's my portfolio site. So
perfect. We'll drop that in the show notes.
All right. Well, thank you all for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks you for being our guest.
Thank you for listening to Go AI. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and review our podcast so we can continue to grow and offer more great AI content. If you're looking for digital marketing, digital transformation, or AI help, make sure you visit www.guardianowdigital.com. Have questions? Email team@guardianowdigital.com for answers. See you next time on Go AI.